Hello everyone, my name is What You Really Don't Care What My Name Is, and we are now in October. You know what that means, right? Well, yeah, it's Oktoberfest. I'm sure a lot of people are buying beers and everything to get ready for their drinking. Yes, I know it means little kids are getting ready to dress up so they can go out and trick or treat and fill their teeth with cavities, which means the dentist is going to get a lot of money this year. But really, for me, whenever I think of October, I think of one thing: horror movies. Tons and tons of horror movies coming out. Some of them are classics, some that are, still popular even to this day, and there are those that are so crappy as hell that it makes you wonder, why does Hollywood continue making so many terrible, terrible remakes? I don't even know why. I mean, back in the days, we saw movies getting remade. Usually when Hollywood does this, it's mostly because they want to try making the movie a lot better than the original. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially nowadays with the new generation. Not a lot of young kids know about the old classic horror movies like Jaws, The Exorcist, the Halloween movies. They don't know about those films. So, of course, Hollywood's going to try making remakes of these old horror movies, even those that we've never heard of. But when we look back to see them and then we see the remake, we like them. But it seems that Hollywood finds a way to also mess up with these remakes. And it has happened a lot. Take, for example, The Haunting. When this movie came out in the 1960s, it was very successful. Not only was it good at terrifying the audience, but it also did something that I like in every other horror movie, when it plays the psychological games with the audience. When this movie came out, a lot of people watched it, and people are wondering, is the main character sane? Is there really ghosts? Or is she just crazy? And that's what I liked about that film, is how well it's able to do that. When a horror movie is able to keep you in suspense, it keeps you at the edge of your seat, and also plays the psychological games with you, it's gonna be a success. However, when the 1999 movie came out, let's just say it was a pile of shit. Not only did people hate this movie, but many people felt it was an insult to the original. And after watching that movie, I completely agree with them. It was so terrible. Nothing about it was original. Nothing about it was good. And we didn't need to worry about her being crazy. We already saw the ghost. So yes, this movie that was supposed to play the psychological games decided, no, we're throwing it out. We're going to add real ghosts into it. So, great. That's awesome. But the ghosts must have been terrifying, right? Now they're CGI. This was terrible, terrible CGI. Well, I wouldn't go as far as Godzilla CGI, but yes, it was very terrible. And The Haunting isn't the only movie that got ruined when it came to remakes. Other movies followed the same thing, including the movies that I will mention this coming few weeks, but I'll get into that much later on. What happened to these movies? Why is Hollywood so focused on making remakes, and why do they end up being failures? Well, let's take a look at the stories. Now, of course, whenever you make a horror movie or any kind of movie, especially a remake, you're gonna want to make some changes to them. You want to, make some changes here and there to the story to make it a little original, but you also want to make sure you keep it to what made the original success. And of course, you want to keep it up to date, make it a little more modern. That's fine. I mean, that's something we need with the audience. But if there's one thing you should not do, is completely change the story. And unfortunately, Hollywood finds a way to completely do that with every one of their remade horror movies. And it's not really a good idea to do that, especially when you're trying to not only target the old audience that love these classic movies, but you're also trying to target the new audience as well. And when both sides come to an agreement that this movie was bad, that the story was bad, and nothing about it keeps you interested, then you're going to see them all leave, and they're not going to enjoy watching the rest of the film. So when you make a story, especially a remake for a horror movie or any movie, keep it to the original. Make some changes here and there is fine, just don't go completely making changes too much. A good example of this is the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When this movie came out years ago, what made the original good was it had a good story where you see these kids and they come across these cannibals who are trying to kill them, including one that kills his victims with a chainsaw, then skins their skin to his face and everything. Very creepy and disturbing, but that made the story for this movie good. And it also got people to be afraid to actually travel through Texas, through roads that are unfamiliar with. And trust me, that has happened. But then when the remake came out years later, it wasn't bad, but I don't know, just something about it just wasn't good as the original. Now, don't get me wrong, there was some stuff of the new version that they did was still okay, and I'll be honest, I liked the ending better than the original. However, we then had another remake, which was the Texas Chainsaw 3D that they did, and let's just say it was so terrible. I was going to say it's probably as terrible as the prequel, but let's be honest, I think the prequel was just as bad as the 3D version. Not only was the story not the same as the original, but nothing about it felt like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. It just felt like a guy that was just in this movie, had a chainsaw, and that was it. Nothing about it felt original, nothing about it felt good. So, yeah, remakes, not exactly a good thing, but is there a good horror movie remakes out there that can actually balance out the bad? Well, yeah. There's a movie like It. When that movie came out, it was actually a big success. Not only did a lot of people love it, but they felt it was a lot better than the TV series that they did. So there is a way to make these movies good, especially if you're trying to make remakes out of them. But you have to remember, don't change too much stuff in the story. Make sure your characters are also good, not stupid, or in this case, make them teenagers that are the only thing they have on their minds is getting high, having sex, and getting drunk. Don't do that. The audience is not stupid. Those cliches don't work anymore. So, yeah, we're in October now. I'm going to be talking a lot about these horror movies, so let's see what we've got the next few weeks. So that's it, everybody. If you have a different opinion about what I've talked about with these horror movies or the remakes that I've talked about, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page. Check out my Twitter page as well. And I'll be here next time to give you more love, more entertainment, a lot of horror. Bye.